Hello and welcome to Not Gambling Advice, the baseball betting stream on the Just Baseball Network. It is Wednesday, June 28th, and our job is to deliver you some MLB winners. We got a full slate today. I think there's 15 games. I know I have my 2 picks. I have a prize picks entry. We're going to go over our ballpark pal model, show you the math. We're going to do some home runs, and then we got a bunch of different contributors, Javon, Krabs, Jen, the whole gang, 22 different picks to get you set up to win some coin. I'm already seeing in the chat. I am already seeing in the chat that some people are down units early, whether that be the Twins or whether that be the Mariners or however that's going. Of course, Logan Gilbert gave up some Turks early, but we're going to make it back, right? It's a grind. One bet doesn't define you, and my shit day yesterday doesn't define me. All right? We're going to have a good day today. I have a good feeling about this, right? Remember, this is brought to you by the Pikkit Sports App. The link is in chat. Make sure to download and use code PETER when you sync your sportsbook. It's going to make you a better bettor. I'm not just lying to you. Make sure to click that link and sign up and sync your sportsbook using code PETER. You can see betting splits. You can see the whole 9. I use it every single day, and you should too. And, of course, the prize picks entry will be on prize picks, believe it or not. And you can use code JustBaseball when you download for a full instant deposit match up to $100. And then on the flip side, BetMGM, same thing. Use code JustBaseball up to $1,000 back in bonus bets. Remember, all bets that we play, I know a lot of people were concerned about Padres team total. Didn't end up mattering because it fucking lost. But a lot of people had 5, 5.5. I can't give you picks that I'm not on a different book, right? I'm using BetMGM. Very simple. They're all on there, right? I could be scouring across different books, but make it consistent so everybody can tail along. BetMGM, the king of sports books, all right? Pikkit, prize picks, BetMGM. That's what we use here, okay? Bruce Cohen, let's do a quick recap of yesterday. Not ideal, right? I mean, the Dodgers-Rockies game I'm fine with, right? It's not 100% of a system. It's not going to go 100% all season. Did I expect the Rockies to get one hit by Clayton Kershaw? No, I did not. Should I have expected it knowing that they're not very good against lefties? Maybe, but I got to play it kind of no matter what. It's been so good this year. It was 4-1. Now it's 4-2. Again, you hit 4 out of 6 picks on that total, and I think it's going to hit more often than not. That's what we got to play. Chicago, Philly, pretty much a sweat-free under until it got to the bottom of the ninth or top of the ninth there, and the Phillies had a chance to do some damage. But the Cubs got out of it, ended up 5-1, so went 3 runs under that total, which was nice. And then we lost in the hook. And if you guys saw yesterday, I think it was Josh Palacios in left field. I forget exactly who was the fielder in left field. Robbed Juan Soto of a home run in the top of the 7th, and that was the difference. I mean, did you guys watch that Padres game yesterday? I want to see in chat. They just gave up. They scored 3 runs in the second. I was like, bang. We're off to the good. We're off to the races. Felt very confident. 11 hits, Padres? 11. Who cares? We lost. Down 1.3 units. We're still making it back. That ball was not getting out. Well, it might have been a double, which would have been a good start. He robbed a home run. Don't give me that. He robbed the home run. Where if you're watching the game, the Pirates broadcast said it was one of the best catches they've seen at PNC Park. Don't give me that. Regardless, it lost. I'm not trying to make excuses. It lost. It's a losing bet. Shit's going to happen. Tatis costed that team total by himself. He was horrible. 2, 3 double plays? Fernando Tatis Jr.? Whatever.
He was like -2 something.
He was what?
-250, -250.
No way. He was probably to get a hit. Not.
Sports Center, that's what they were saying. I swear to God.
You,
Swear to God.
wait, get on camera for a second. What were you saying? Hold on.
I promise yesterday during Sports Center I was watching, they said something about Tatis being like -225, 250 at home run. I thought it was ridiculous. Am I frozen? I'm frozen. Whatever. Fuck.
We lost. We lost the bet. Shit happens. All right. But we're back today. We got plenty of picks. And that's the great part about baseball. There's always tomorrow. It's not like the NFL where you got to wait for Monday, Thursday, Sunday, whatever. We got another day today. Let's get straight into it. Oh, yeah. Let's do a prize pick to recap too. So we're going to start recapping these community entries, talking shit to the people who didn't hit and showering praise on the people who did. Shout out Ben Carey, Luis Arias, free, 3 total bases. Kevin Gausman, shout out mid-major, free, over 37.5 fantasy score. How about 55 points? Mookie Betts, more than a half RBI. Who gave that? Was that? Oh, you're right. It was me, idiot. Brian Wu, shout out Jake Hazen for being an idiot. Brian Wu, less than 5 hits. Come on. Justin Turner from Javon, pushed. I mean, he got his 7. Can't bag on him that much. And Ollie 1 Unit, shout out Ollie 1 Unit, has been feeding us free squares. Manny Machado, more than 1.5 bases, got it in the first inning and then didn't do shit for the rest of the game. Yeah, thanks a lot, Manny Machado. But he did hit it for our Prize Picks entry. So shout out Ollie 1 Unit, cash. Shout out Ben Carey, cash. Wait, put it back up again so I remember. Kevin Gausman, shout out mid-major, cash. Mookie Betts, myself, you're an idiot. Brian Wu, Jake Hazen, dumb. Justin Turner, Javon, I mean, why even show up? Why even show up? All right. We made fun of enough people and gave enough people some praise. Let's get into the first picks of the day because we're going to go to Baltimore. We are going to go to Baltimore at 7:05 p.m. Eastern. I'm seeing this is a pretty popular play on stream, so be wary, but I bet it the night before. What can I do? I've said this when people come on stream. It's like when I put my bets in and I see a lot of people on it, like it obviously scares me. I don't love it, but I'm on it. I got a good number too. So let's talk about it. So I really thought about betting the over in every game of this series. We cashed both overs, both the first half and the full game. But when I saw both aces squaring off, I'm like, all right, I won't bet the over. I'm not betting the under, though, because these two offenses are just so damn good. Where it was Andrew Abbott versus Tyler Wells. Good thing I didn't. I think that final score was 3-1 Reds. But today, both teams are throwing bottom of the rotation arms where both offenses are due to explode, especially after last night. So Luke Weaver really never has a good matchup. But Kyle Gibson certainly doesn't either. Normally, I'll queue up stats for like a longer period of time, but June 6th is a very key date. What happened on June 6th? Ellie De La Cruz was called up and changed the perplexity of the Reds lineup. Now, Ellie has shown to have real troubles against left-handed pitching. Do you know what his OPS is against lefties? 286. 286 OPS. That's on base plus slugging in 21 ABs. Short sample, but his right-handed swing needs to get better. But in 56 games against right-handed pitching, he's slashing 357, 429, 679 with 1,100 OPS. He's a game changer against right-handers. But you also have Jake Fraley posting a 913 OPS against righties compared to a 226 OPS against lefties. You also have Joey Votto, TJ Friedl. Their lineup looks a lot better against righties now. It used to be their better split against lefties, but this lineup is just different. And just talking about Kyle Gibson for a second, but before that, since June 6th, the Reds have the 6th best WRC plus in baseball against right-handed pitching at 125. They're an electric offense. They have the 3rd ranked OPS and ISO, which is isolated power. They can hit the long ball, and they're going up against Kyle Gibson and his 4.48 xFIP, 4.92 expected ERA, and 4.78 Sierra. Nothing about Kyle Gibson really impresses me. He's in the bottom 25% in strikeouts, expected ERA, whiff rate, hard hit rate, you name it. After facing a much tougher right-hander in Tyler Wells, Kyle Gibson is going to be in trouble today. But Luke Weaver is also in for a tough matchup, as he normally is. But funny enough, since June 6th, the Orioles sit right behind the Reds in WRC plus against right-handed pitching. They've been very aggressive, right? They rarely take walks, 6.6% of the time, which can sometimes bite them in the butt, which is ranked 28th in the league. But however, this is why they have a great matchup against Luke Weaver, because he's an aggressive pitcher who fills up the strike zone only to be killed by hard contact, which he sits in the 25th percentile. Weaver wants to throw strikes, and the Orioles hit strikes, and they hit them hard. Now, when we look at both bullpens, the Reds' bullpen is basically destroyed at this point. Alexis Diaz, 41 pitches. Ian Jabot, 30 pitches. Cruz, 30. Farmer, 30. Lucas Sims, 26. All their best relievers have been used a ton. Alex Young is available, but if Alex Young scares you, he's good, but that's all they got. Now, for the Orioles, they have some good relievers waiting in the wings. Yanier Cano, we're definitely going to see him. Danny Collum, we're definitely going to see him. We might see Felix Bautista, but he's thrown 17 pitches in the last 3 days. My guess is we'll see him in a save situation, which could affect the over-under, could not. Tough to tell. But I really think that the Reds are going to explode off Kyle Gibson. I think the Orioles are going to explode off Luke Weaver. And then I think the Orioles are going to score a bunch of runs against the Reds bullpen. And I do think that the Reds can score off these relievers. Like, they're great, but to say that they're just not going to score, I don't think is, like, I guess you could just say there no runs will be scored. Maybe not. The Reds are just so good, especially against righties. And of course, all those guys are righties outside of Danny Collum. Now, one other aspect of it, Camden Yards is the second highest run scoring environment of the day, sitting at 11% above average with a 21% increase in home runs. Kyle Gibson gives up the long ball, and so does Luke Weaver. And both pitchers are due for more home runs based on XFIP. The park is screaming for it. Give me the over 9 runs. And I think the total should be at 10, right? When we look at the ballpark pal model, let me just load it up right now. And which is also good. The ballpark pal model didn't love it as much as it does now. So right now, yeah, it thinks it should be at 10. So you're still seeing a little bit of value there at 9.5. 9 is such a key number that I had to take it. But basically it says the total runs implied over at 8.5 would be, minus 200. This game's going over. I'm pretty confident this over. Very confident. That's what I'm rolling with today, all right? Let's go to our next game on the slate, which is the Tampa Bay Rays against the Arizona Diamondbacks at 9:40 p.m. Eastern. The pitching matchup is Zach Eflin versus Zach Davies. This is the battle of the Zacks. Funny, sort of. In Arizona with the closed roof at Chase Field. Believe it or not, and this has burned me a couple times, honestly, and helped me a couple of times. And I wanted to find out kind of the stats surrounding this. So closing the roof at Chase Field helps the pitchers. We know that. But I didn't know how much. It basically knocks about a half run off projections with the roof open, right? So let's say a total is at 9. If the roof was closed, it would knock it down to 8.5. If the roof was open, it would be at 9, if that makes sense. So there was an article that I posted in my own article. They studied games in Arizona with the roof open versus closed since the franchise's inception, since they started playing at Chase Field. The OPS in that stadium falls from 802 with the roof open to 761 with the roof closed. And the runs per game fall by a half run. But again, yesterday's game flew over with the roof closed. It's not a game changer, but it does help, right? And I just think this total is overinflated. So Zach Davies, he isn't good at all, but he's nowhere near as bad as his 7.82 ERA would tell you. Every ERA estimator has him between 4.18 and 5.12. He's not good by any means, right? But he's just not the pitcher that we've seen. In his last 3 starts, he's allowed 18 earned runs. Maybe I'm crazy, but I think that's so bad that he's due for a normal start. Again, I don't expect him to dominate, but I expect 2 to 3 runs over 5 innings. Since May began, the Rays offense on the road is at 107, their WRC+. It's good, not great. However, in the last 30 days, so it's getting progressively worse, they scored 4 runs yesterday. It's fallen to a 92 WRC+. The offense in general hasn't been as lethal as it was to start the season, and I think we're starting to see that still in the lines when it shouldn't be that way. For example, I think there's an argument to be made that Zach Davies and Kyle Gibson kind of the same, right? Even though the ERAs would tell you a completely different story. But on the Rays side, we have Zach Eflin, who has not been any good on the road this season. I want to make that clear. But what he does do very well is he's very good at getting out lefties, right? Holding them to a tiny, minuscule 541 OPS this season. The Diamondbacks are going to throw out 5 left-handed hitters, most likely. Geraldo Perdomo, Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, Alec Thomas, and Jake McCarthy. Eflin's 3.07 expected ERA sits in the 86th percentile. That's bordering on elite. Personally, I don't think he's that good. Like, that's putting him upwards of the best pitchers in baseball. But I do think he's a very, very solid starter that's going to be tough to blow up. He's a sinker, cutter, curveball guy. And Carroll and Marte have been very good against sinkers, right? But Eflin has one of the best sinkers in the entire sport from a quality of contact standpoint. This should be a good battle. I like Eflin's chances. Now, when we look at both bullpens, right? So basically what I need from these starters is to not get destroyed. 9.5 is a very big total, right? I talked about over 9 for Orioles Reds. Both of these offenses have been as good, if not better, than both the Diamondbacks and the Rays against righties so far in the last 30 days. So, and the Reds bullpen completely gone. Orioles bullpen, it's hit or miss right now. But if we're looking at both of these bullpens, everyone's available, right? The Diamondbacks have Kyle Nelson, Dre Jameson, Miguel Castro, Andrew Chafin, Kevin Ginkel. They're all going to be available. So they got a full slew of bullpen arms ready to go. And on the Rays side, Fairbanks, Adam, Diekman, Poche, Stevenson, even Kevin Kelly's available. Zach, they have everybody too. So they can mix and match. This is a game where I am feeling that there should be bullpen arms available. Like, all we need is for one of these starting pitchers not to give up like 6 runs. And I don't think it's going to happen. So that's why I went the under 9.5. I think it was too inflated of a line. Remember, I only give you totals when I view that it's a run too high or too low. When I bet over 9 for Baltimore versus Reds, I thought the total should be at 10. When I saw this game, I thought it should be at 8.5. But the reason it's at 9.5, in my opinion, is because Zach Davies has a 7.84 ERA, and everybody thinks that the Rays offense is this unstoppable force. So I think it's a full run high. Now, I always want to be completely honest. I think it moved 5 cents in the wrong way, right? Still at 9.5, but it hasn't moved in our direction. Producer Colin, what's Bet MGM showing right now?
Over 9.5 minus 115. Under 105.
Okay, so it's moved 10 cents in the wrong direction. So again, not much, right? Our Rockies-Dodgers total moved like a run yesterday and it lost. 10 cents, it's not that big of a deal to me because when you look on Pikkit, you look on any sort of splits, public's on the over. They see Zach Davies, they see the Rays, they're betting this over. And it might hit. I have a feeling that it doesn't, though. Late night, I think it ends up going under the total. I took under 9.5. How are we feeling, ladies and gentlemen? Do we like those plays? UNLV 9-4 just subbed with Prime at a baby. Pete is so back. You can hear the confidence in his voice. I feel good. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to lie to you, right? I like both these plays a lot. I actually like that over in that game. Can we avoid rain delays in Baltimore tonight, please? We can avoid them, but remember our first game? It's totally fine. 4Ks through 2 for Corbin. How are we feeling about those plays, ladies and gentlemen? How are we feeling? I like them. I'm ready to roll. All right, let's get into our prize picks entry. So we got 2 guys. So we'll start with Braxton Garrett because this one is obviously very low, and I doubt anybody on earth wants to take it. So I really wanted to back the Red Sox today. But the reason I wanted to back the Red Sox is because I love their bats against Braxton Garrett. But Caleb Ort, I just couldn't bring myself to be yep, the Red Sox money line is worth it. They just won. The Marlins won 10-1 yesterday. It's usually a good spot. Of course, me not betting it, they're going to win this game. But the reason I liked the Red Sox initially, the reason I was drawn to them is they have a really good matchup against Garrett. In the last 30 days, Red Sox ranked 5th in WRC plus and 4th in OPS against lefties at home. Garrett's been the king of the strikeout lately, but the Red Sox don't strike out. They're in the bottom 3 in the league against lefties, right? So what Garrett wants to do is he wants to get you to chase. The Red Sox don't do that, right? And Garrett's lines, they're incredibly low for how well he's pitching, right? 5.5 Ks juice to the under after a 13 strikeout performance, and he's been 9-8. This is kind of my way of backing the Red Sox today. I don't want to take the Red Sox team total because I do think that they hit Garrett, but the Marlins have a fully rested bullpen. So I just want to fade Braxton Garrett, and I thought of doing it through the under fantasy score. And Ellie De La Cruz, he's just been too damn quiet for too long. It's been 3 games, and he hasn't done anything. That's nope. He's really struggled in his last 3 games, but he's faced some tough pitchers, right? He got Wells. He got Charlie Morton. Tough pitchers, right? And then he faced a bunch of left-handers, which, as we know, he's not good against left-handers. But he's too good against right-handers to be held down for long, and there's always the chance of him stealing a base, which I love. Now, we don't have enough data to kind of look at individual pitches this early, but I'm betting on a bounce-back performance against a pitcher whose also worst split is against lefties. That's key. Kyle Gibson isn't any just right-handed pitcher. He's rocking almost an 800 OPS against lefties this season. That's been his downfall. And Ellie, I think, is going to hit in really good weather conditions today in Baltimore. right? Because even though we've seen some rain, we're seeing that this ballpark is clearly playing up towards the hitters, especially in the first game. Very similar. 11% in the first game, 11% today. I think Ellie's going to go off, and I'm taking his over 8.5 fantasy score, and I'm pairing it with Braxton Garrett under 27.5. I feel good. Should we get into some home run dingers? Let's talk dingers. So I was looking at this thing this morning, obviously, as I do every day. No one kind of shot out at me that was too weird, right? We go to the home run zone, and we look at some of these guys, right? Like, yeah, like, I mean, Anthony Santander is a good one, right? But he's like up here a decent amount, but he's not this high. So Anthony Santander would be my main pick. It's a lot of the same guys. Ryan O'Hearn just keeps showing up here. He ain't weird anymore. Danny Jansen, you don't often see him, but against Logan Webb, like, I don't like that. Adam Duvall, I like against Braxton Garrett. So my main 2 home run picks today would be Anthony Santander, who really hits right-handed pitching well, and Kyle Gibson. Again, worse splits against lefties. I like Santander. And then besides that, I would probably go. I like Votto. Scroll up a little bit. That's really all I love. I like Santander the best. That would be my home run pick today. And then Adam Duvall would be my other pick. So I would go Adam Duvall, or I would go Anthony Santander. Alonso gets a dinger today. I don't know, Producer Cohen. Do you think Alonso gets a dinger today? He doesn't even care anymore. He's checked out. Took Seth Brown yesterday, didn't come through. Guess I got to go back. Yeah, you got to go back. I'm tailing that. Let's go Thrasher. Yeah, we got 2 minutes right before we welcome on to Jen. I just want to show them this Orioles Reds. So as we can see, we go to the model, right? 5.59 to 5.24. They expect both offenses to really go off. Can you go back up to the top? And I want you to go to 2 days ago. Go to, June 27th, and then go to June 26th. So kind of similar, right? Not quite as explosive. That game ended on 13 runs, 5.72 to 5.61. A little bit less for the Reds, which makes sense because they were going up against Cole Irvin versus Kyle Gibson. Duvall total bases plus money on the books. Worth a look? I think it is worth a look. I would just rather take him and hit a ding-dong, to be perfectly honest with you. That's definitely plus money. But it's very close to that projection, right? Not quite as heavy. But again, that total that we took, I'm pretty sure was either at 9.5 or 10. We're taking this one at 9. Right now it's 9.5 with a little bit of line move in our direction. So I really like this one. Definitely on it. What were there any others that really shot out? I mean, this under in Astros Cardinals. My only issue is, does it go under again? Producer Cohen? It's a pretty low projection. I don't know. I can't make much sense of it. Javier has not looked great. He's not striking out the same amount of guys. And like tailing a Michaelis under could be a disaster. I mean, as could tailing a Zach Davies under. I mean, what the hell am I even talking about? But I don't know. It's just, and maybe I'm overthinking it. And maybe 8.5 is just you go under, right? Busch Stadium's not great weather conditions today. But let's talk to Jen. Because again, remember, you can follow on Ballpark Pal. Look at all the math. Let's welcome on the DeGen, number 1 on the leaderboard, rocking the gambling hat. Look at that beautiful smile. That's a smile of a winner right there. That's what that is.
Yes. I wouldn't call it a winner, though. I mean, it's a long season, so I'm not getting too high or too low.
We're going to shout you out when you're number 1. You know,
okay, that's fine.
We got to take our wins when we can get it.
That's true. And I was 1-1 yesterday. I guess I got a little lucky that I got a voided bet. Although you can't say that because who knows what the outcome would have been if you pitched. But I'm actually going back to that spot tonight. But yeah, this has been a fun contest, and I am hopefully, honestly, at the end of the day, I'll just be thrilled if I end in the green throughout the entire season. But yes, I've got 3 plays today. And you know what, Peter? This is probably a bad idea, but I'm upping my units a little bit. So I think throughout the entire stream, I have risked 1 unit on just about every play except one. I think I've had 1 2-unit play, and it lost. It was against you, actually. I think it was a Cubs over in DC. But I am upping that, and I'm not really doing it because I'm feeling cocky or confident. I just really like the spots and like the plays. So I am, personally, like I go 2-3 units here and there. I was on a 2-unit play yesterday in that what was it? The Mets over that push, thankfully. So again, I'm just mentioning this because I don't do it very often, and I'm just picking my spots here. But we can get into whichever one you've got first on the graphic. There we go, Thrasher. I see you in there with your avatar, the gambling hat. Love it. Like Thrasher, he's an Orioles fan, Baltimore guy, and
big Orioles guy.
Yeah. So he may know, or he knows, but some people in here may know. The Orioles and I do not get along very well. And this dates back to last season because I bet very similarly to Craps. But I took a vendetta out against the Orioles, and I just kept telling myself, like, no, it's gonna fade, it's gonna wear off. Like, they got a horseshoe up their ass. They kept being in these weird spots and these sharp spots all the time, where I felt like they were the better team, but the line was really short, And I remember specifically, the Angels were really bad at a certain point in the season last year. And like the Angels played a series against the Orioles. And I want to say I took the Angels like 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 4, whatever it was. And I lost every single one of them. And I started making it a thing to where I'm done fading the Orioles. So went into this season with the same rule. Rule number 1, actually my own rule. Don't fade the Orioles. Guess who the most profitable team in baseball is? That's right. You're nodding your head. You know. What don't you know about baseball? It's the fucking Baltimore Orioles. So anyways, I've picked my spots on the O's, and I think I'm 2-1, whether betting on or against them. The last time I faded them, I think, was a Taj Bradley masterclass on the first 5 against my Rays. But I got something that I like a lot about Baltimore in this spot, and I'm being a hypocrite here because if anybody's digging through my tweets, I did say I was going to stop fading the Reds. I did say that the Reds might be the new Orioles.
Yeah, but what can you do when you're picking a game and 2 teams that you don't want to fade? You got to fade one of them.
Or you could just not bet it, but I am.
You could not bet it. You could not bet it.
I faded the Reds, and I took the Braves -1.5, and they won 7-6 that game. But this spot, this is the grudge match. This is the 3rd game of the series. Peter, if you go back, and you can double-check my math, but I looked at this twice. If you go back to the last 10 series the Orioles have played, they have won 3-game series. They had a 2-game series in between that against the Rays. That doesn't count. They have won the last game of the series last 9 out of 10 times. They are very good on this final game of the series, and they're very good with grudge matches. They do not lose a lot of series in general, and they certainly don't lose a lot of them at home. I really like this spot, and I felt like I've had a right read on the series so far, yet I haven't gotten any units invested. I had a good read in game 1. I like the under in game 2. That one soared under yesterday. I believe the Reds won 3-1. So one thing here that I'm not overthinking, of course, though, it's not really my style, but I just think Luke Weaver is not a good pitcher. And I think I'm totally at peace with fading Luke Weaver. Now, as a contrarian bettor, every time I do something that makes sense and never really bodes well, for example, wanting the over in a game where David Peterson was pitching. What did he do? Fucking ground ball expert last night. Pitched a masterclass, okay? So take it with a grain of salt, all right? Because maybe I'm walking into a trap, although I don't necessarily think so. I think this is the right line. I don't think there's anything fishy about this. -165 up to -175, -170. I forget what it's at now, but obviously I locked it in at 165. I think that's the right price. And I think that I like the Orioles at home in the grudge match against the Reds. I think this is a very big plus price that your average person is going to see and maybe take the Reds and expect runs in this game. And honestly, I don't know if I do. I think who's going? Is it Kyle Gibson for the Orioles?
Kyle Gibson.
Yeah, I think Kyle Gibson pitches pretty well. And I thought about going in on the first 5, but I asked somebody in my stream, forget who it was, but just, give me an idea on the bullpens. And I know the Orioles have a good bullpen and they have a good closer. and I believe somebody told me, and I hope this is right because I didn't check it, double check his math or his information, but he said 2 of their top 3 guys have yet to be used. So I'm okay with that. Full game. Give me the Orioles. I'm going to risk 1.65 to win a unit because, like I said, I found that trend where I think there might be onto something here with the Orioles just dominating the grudge match or the final game of a series.
Yeah, Danny C and Yennier Cano are both available,
Okay.
which is good. So those are 2 of their 3 top guys. I think Felix was used in the first game. Maybe he wasn't. But I know Felix pitched 3 days ago, which would be Sunday. So maybe he wasn't used in this series, but he's not fully rested. But regardless, the Orioles certainly have the bullpen advantage. And this is why I like this play. Funny enough, when I was capping this game, I was like, am I crazy to go Reds first 5, Orioles full game? Because I actually think the Reds matchup against Kyle Gibson is fantastic. But at the same time, I like the Orioles bats against Weaver because he's not very good at all. And what he likes to do is what the Orioles like to do. Like Luke Weaver, his best aspect is that he throws a lot of strikes. He challenges hitters. Orioles don't walk. So that's a good matchup in itself. And then you look at Kyle Gibson against the Reds. He's bad against lefties, and these lefties in the Reds lineups just destroy them. So I think what we're going to see are like early home runs from the Reds. Orioles are keeping it close. Then these Reds bullpen arms, which they don't have any anymore. Orioles just pile on, kind of one of those wins that the Orioles win like 7-5. One of those games. That's what I'm saying.
I saw 7. I see. Now that I know about the matchup against Gibson, I was telling myself this is kind of right around that total. I feel like a 7-2, 7-3 game. But I feel like Baltimore scores about 7 runs. So hopefully, at the end of the day, like I said, if you were to tell me Baltimore's going to score 7, do you feel comfortable they win? I do. So got to go with the gut there, and I'm going to go ahead and lay it with the Birds.
Good stuff. Let's get into play number 2. Cleveland.
Oh, man. Cleveland, team total. I like runs in this game. I like the full game over. I hope that I'm not getting cute here and it burns me by just isolating with Cleveland. But yesterday, I believe they ended up winning 2-1, but they were down 1-0 most of the game. Out hit the Royals, I want to say 7-2. I'm not saying 7 hits is a lot in a game, but obviously by that, you would assume that they would be the winning team, but they certainly they got lucky there at the end. I always like to come back to a team like that in the second game of the series. And also, I'm going to be isolating Jose Ramirez. I like Jose Ramirez a lot today. I think the Guardians come out and get on top of them early. And, I think it's Logan Allen going for the Guardians. Is that right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Logan Allen against Royals righty.
Austin Cox.
Forgetting his name. Yeah, Austin Cox. Yes, exactly.
So, I don't know enough about Logan Allen. I thought about if I like the, Guardians to score a bunch of runs, do I just want to bet him to beat one of the worst teams in baseball? But I don't know. I mean, Logan Allen's a guy I'm not really familiar with. I think he's a young guy, or at least, I don't know if it's age-wise, but he's a rookie. Okay, so I don't know. Rookies can just do weird shit on the road. So I said, you know what? I like the second game of the series where the bats. They got a few hits, but they were late to the party with runs. I like him in the second game to come out and score. So this is another one I felt pretty good about. And like I said, I like Jose Ramirez. I'm going to take his RBIs up to 3+. I think it's 10-1 on FanDuel. Just a small cheeky bet if anybody gives a shit. And so I'm going to risk 1.45 to win a unit on that one.
Good stuff. I like runs in this game too, and I like them on the Cleveland side especially. Logan Allen is tough to cap, especially in the minor leagues. Like, he's one of those gets outs guys without electric stuff. So like peripherals, all those X stats, I love to bring up. They're not normally going to love him, but then you turn around and it's 6 innings, 2 runs, and you're like, shit, he's just good. And like, that's who he is. Right. Very typical Guardians starter, right? Not going to blow you away by any means. Just a good, solid pitcher who gets outs and keeps his team in the ball game. But Austin Cox, I think he had a pretty good outing against your Rays there. Does he do it again? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, the Rays just play down to their competition. They've been terrible against the A's and the Royals, so I'm not going to look too much into it. But that actually makes me feel even better. I didn't remember that he was the pitcher or what he did in that series. So I like that, if anything, because now this guy's probably feeling himself a little bit after having a good outing. It's the best team in baseball, and I think that just adds even more to it. I always like to just kind of zigzag with these pitchers. Not like Dylan Cease's or Austin Nola's necessarily, but these other guys who you don't really know, like after a nice outing, fade them after. So that just adds to it a little bit. So yeah, I love the Guardians bats today. And I believe I've got one more. I don't know how I'm doing on time, but I think I'm.
Yeah, you're chilling.
All right, so was on the Padres' first five, and you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. I think I got lucky. That probably was a loser, regardless. It was pretty square. The Padres are a trendy team overall. Coming into the season and whatnot. So I do my best when it comes to futures and investing in team season long. There's hype I buy and there's hype I sell. Two teams I could not touch this year were the Mariners and the Padres. I know everybody really liked them. So I have to remember that.
Don't mean to interrupt you. I was so heavy on Mariners, so anti-Padres. So I was like,
oh, wow.
1-1.
Yep. I got lucky. I had the Mariners last year, and they just barely they went on like a run of winning like 12 of 13 or something. I got so lucky with that.
I got a World Series ticket on them.
This year? That might be a team.
22-1.
What are they right now?
Not 22-1.
40? Maybe 40, 35?
I mean, they might not make the playoffs. It's the pitching has been, great. It's just they don't hit. And it's just all their bats have regressed. And it's so tough to see because
that's a team, though. The potential's there. The talent's there. I can't wait. I love these teams in every sport, in hockey as well. Like, if they find any sort of rhythm or confidence going into the All-Star break, it's like a reset. So that'll be a team I'll be looking to potentially back like game to game coming out of the break, like a 10-game sample size, or maybe buy some stock. But anyway, so the Padres, they're typically pretty square, especially against a team like the Pirates, who started out great, have been really bad since. But I liked them to tee off yesterday against Rich Hill, and it didn't really happen. I know you were on the team total over. I almost took the same thing. And then that was a tough beat. I saw the clip that you posted too, not to rub it in.
It sucks. Yeah.
Again,
no, but you're not rubbing it in. Good. W transparency. We're talking about wins and losses.
Right. Yeah, we own our L's pretty well around here. So first game of the series, you expect the bats to go off. They don't. I love it to happen in the second game. But on top of that, I'm not really backing the Padres offense so much. I mean, that's part of the reason I like them here, but it's Blake Snell for me. And I said this earlier this year. I'm not like the biggest Blake Snell fan, but as a Rays fan, my heart wasn't broken when we traded him, but I still like the guy and I root for his success. He was 0-5 to start the year last year. Next thing you know, he was 5-5. So for whatever reason, it just takes him to be trailing at halftime to figure it out and get it right later. So he's been pitching very well. I mean, he honestly looked dominant. So we know the revenge game against the Rays. I think he had like 12 Ks or something absurd.
So good. That was arguably one of the best starts of his career, I thought.
It was arguably one of the best starts of his career.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I've almost never seen him look better, except for that game against the Dodgers where Kevin Cash removed him because of analytics.
Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that?
You brought up Padres. I gotta stab back somehow.
I know. Yeah. Nick Anderson, ultimate melt. Anyways, so I'm just closing my eyes here. I know it's probably pretty square again. Give me Blake
square.
You don't think it's square?
I mean, what is square? Like that's why I try to always ask. There's obviously some bets that are so stupidly obvious, but like Blake Snell versus Mitch Keller, who's been awesome too. Like saying square, Pirates just won 9-4 yesterday. I think in the baseball community, we worry too much about that. I think if you play the right matchups, like when matchups call for it, baseball is different from any other sport worth betting on. And I'm not, like lecturing you. I know you know this, but it's like, I hear this all the time. And it's like, guys hit who they like. Like sometimes they won't, and that's life. But more often than not, last year, Paul Goldschmidt's going to hit soft tossing lefties. If you took him every time, you're up money. So it's like if you play the right matchups, more often than not, you're going to make money. I think that's how you bet baseball.
I would never tell anyone not to bet something, especially in baseball if it's square. But I think it's important to be cognizant, Peter. And
yes.
I can't help it. And there are so many examples. And last night, Framber Valdez was -120 against the Cardinals, who have been awful and just came back from London. Every person was on the Astros, and what happened? So that's just sports betting. But you're right. in
But
baseball.
let me turn that around to you. Ranger
Okay.
Suarez has been amazing, right? The Phillies were minus 130. I looked at both those lines. I was like, holy shit, both of them were sketch. Phillies, you could have taken Phillies minus 3.5. Like, it was so obvious, but the Astros lost, right? So if you took the two squarest plays on the board, you faded both London teams, you went 1-1, right? So it's like, yeah, you can point to that, but then you could also point to the other ones, right? So
Of course.
Zach Gallen at home against the Rays, he was minus 120. They killed him. It's like that's kind of what I'm talking about here.
So yes, it makes perfect sense. The problem I have where it makes me a little bit uncomfortable is you said it's Blake Snell against Mitch Keller. I think most people look at this as Blake Snell versus the Pirates. And yes, the Pirates did win 9-4, but I don't know how much stock your average person's putting into that because they played some no-name fuckface, Reese, whatever his name was. And I'm salty because my FanDuel didn't void the bet, so I had to lose that unit. But anyways, yeah, no, I mean, you're right. That's not enough to scare me off. And I'm not going, if you look at the Prize Pick Square and you look at these props I cash things of Blake Snell, he's green. And, typically as a contrarian, you look for low lines, weird lines to say, oh, well, you know what? This is kind of telling. He's been way too hot. He's due for regression. The opposite's going to happen. I'm not going to do that in this situation. I'm going to continue to back Snell. And I like, again, the narrative or not the narrative, but the angle that I like to play where, and I know Javon, he was saying this yesterday because he said, I hope the Padres lose so then I can get a better price, hopefully, on Blake Snell in game 2. I wasn't thinking like that, but watching the Padres bats not be able to score runs for the entirety of the game, I think their offense wakes up a little bit. I think Machado, I think Tatis finally get the bats going in the offense. And so that's my reasoning for Padres first 5. I do realize I've been up for longer than I should have. So
you're good. We're still waiting on next person to come in queue. One thing too, I kind of want your thoughts on this. I was hoping for not in that game, but for a different game when I saw Diamondbacks Rays and I saw Eflin Davies, and knowing that Davies' X stats are so much lower and that he's put together 3 horrific starts and Eflin's bad on the road and all these different narratives, I was like, I hope this Gallen Bradley game ends on 15 runs. And it ended up being 8-4. So I bet the under 9.5. I think that total is inflated.
Tonight?
Yeah.
Love
Eflin Davies. I bet the under. You like that play?
I do. I like the Rays. I have the Rays on the first 5. I think Eflin pitches really well tonight, actually. And I totally agree. I thought that it was one of the most contrarian plays on the board is actually taking the under in that game because nobody likes Zach Davies. And you're right. Eflin on the road is not I guess he might not be as good as he is elsewhere. But I think that if you look at the Rays, they're a good over team. They're one of the best over teams in baseball. And coming off of a game where they just put that many runs up and, in a Zach Gallen start, who isn't going to want to take runs in this game when you've got Zach Davies pitching? So, I mean, the last time I remember Davies pitching was, I think, against the Giants, and it was 8-5. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he's given up 18 earned runs in his past 3 starts. 18.
Right. So, I mean, look, now the problem I have, Peter, is it would suck if now that is the obvious is that the Rays, who are a good over team and have good offense, just beat the shit out of Zach Davies, who's a terrible pitcher, and they go over by themselves, right?
Could happen.
It could happen. But I like that. I've thought about playing that under. I thought about playing maybe the under D-backs team total. I mean, who do you think wins? I like the Rays.
And maybe I'm crazy. I think Davies pitches well. I do. I think the Diamondbacks do okay. I think you're going to get one of those classic Eflin starts, when he goes like 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned. Like one of those starts.
Yes.
And I think Davies is weirdly effective today. It's just he's been so bad, but he's not that bad. Like, he's a guy who's been in the league for a very long time. He's normally in the mid 4s to low 4s. And he's had 3 straight starts where he's just gotten his shit kicked in.
Yeah.
Back at home, roof closed, which normally helps the pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got a 9 ERA at home because he keeps getting blown up. I think he weirdly pitches well today. I would not be surprised to see the D-backs win this game. I couldn't decide on a winner. I really couldn't. I wouldn't be surprised to see a D-backs win here.
I'm going to avoid the Rays bullpen because they've been very inconsistent lately. I'm backing. I'm not expecting Davies to get blown up by any means. Like I said, I would like the under in that game as well. I see it 3-2 through like 7 innings. I think it's the Rays that are gonna have a lead through 5 because I'm trusting Eflin a little bit more than I am Davies. That's really all it comes down to.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair. All right, we'll talk to you soon. All right, we got Tomas in the queue, but Dejen, appreciate all the insight. All right. Number 1 on stream for a reason. Appreciate you, my friend.
Let's go, baby.
Talk to you.
All right, Pete. Talk to you later. Good luck.
You too. Tomas, what?
Sorry.
Producer Cone.
We're going to Tomas. They want to see the A's game.
Oh, they want Tomas. Let's show them the A's game on the model. Everyone's clamored for it right now.
Let me see it.
What do you think it says?
Probably
A's should be favorites.
Well, I'm glad I'm on the A's today. So there we go. I'll take it.
Perfect. Let's break into your first play. Let's talk about those Oakland Athletics because the W model thinks the A's are the best team in baseball, and you do too. Actually, the Yankees might be the worst team in baseball. Maybe that's why.
I'm a JP Sears truther. I don't know why, but I am. I mean, I've watched his last couple of starts, and he has been Oakland's best pitcher this year. There's not a doubt. I mean, he is reliable, consistent 5 innings. He throws like 100 pitches in 5 innings, but damn, does he keep the A's in it majority of the time. And that's why I'm going to play him on the first 5. They won yesterday, so I'm not going to play the full game because I don't trust the A's bullpen. Nobody does. And I see this as a legit, hey, I'm going to back Sears, but I'm also a Domingo Germán hater. Like, this guy, I don't think he's good. Also, everything that happened with
should be sent to the moon.
Yeah, I mean, also too, everything that was happening with him with, the sticky stuff and like still doing it repetitively. I know it's been a while, but still, I mean, once I saw that, I was like, this guy's a clown.
Couldn't agree with you more.
And I'm over, I'm over him. And also too, I think the Yanks are like ultimate fade mode right now. They're just struggling offensively. And the A's are so sneaky. I mean, let's talk a second about Ruiz, right? He's on pace for like 80 stolen bases, which hasn't been done. I think I saw this since like 83 or 85.
I think it was Luke Brock. Oh, wait, maybe that was before then. Maybe it was just
no,
Ricky.
I think it was Ricky Henderson was the last guy who's
might
done
be
it.
Ricky, yeah. Luke Brock, I might be.
I think
like
you might.
60s. He was a Cardinal. I forget.
Yeah,
when
he was earlier. He was earlier.
Keep talking. I want to look up Luke Brock's stats.
But Ruiz, I mean, he's a guy who's batting leadoff, and if he gets on, I mean, he's going to steal second. You got to run in scoring position every time he gets on base. Like this guy, that's the way that I see it. And I just want to take a second to talk about how amazing of a year he's had on the base pass. But Sears, he really only struggles with giving up the long ball. I mean, that's pretty much been his downside this year. But the only guy in that lineup that scares me to do that is Giancarlo Stanton, and he has not been hitting good.
You want to talk about Giancarlo Stanton? In the month of June, who do you think is the worst WRC plus in baseball at 15?
No, I bet it is Stanton. I didn't know
it's Stanton. He's the worst.
He's been batting like I think I saw a stat too. Like the last 2 weeks, he's batting like barely 100. Like he is not hitting the ball at all.
Horrible.
And Josh Donaldson can suck it. Like I don't really care. Yeah, whatever.
He can suck it. I agree.
And I like the A's.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I know I'm so bad at this, but Lou Brock in 1974 stole 118 bases.
Wow.
Sick, right?
That's impressive. Honestly.
Even if we lose all of our bets, can't say you didn't learn something.
I did learn something today, Peter. You broadened my knowledge today. But no, I like the A's. I like JP Sears. Give me the first 5. I'm going to play this with the starting pitchers. I love it.
Atta baby. I like it too because JP Sears is better than Domingo Germán.
Yep.
Like
simple enough.
And JP Sears has been a dog at home. I don't think you mentioned that, but he's been very, very good at home.
Next up, Cardinals money line.
Wow.
Cardinals money line. Yeah. I'm going against the Stros for a couple of reasons. First up, this line opened with pretty much a pick 'em. Some places had Houston as a -105 favorite. But here's the thing that really stood out to me. Over like 70% of the bets were on the Astros, yet this line completely moved in the Cardinals' favor. And I think 99% of the people out there saw the Astros lose yesterday with Framber Valdez on the mound and go, oh, Christian Javier, Astros plus money, let's lock it in. And I also watched Miles Michaelis's last start against the Nats. They lost that game, but he pitched really well. It was like in the rain, horrible conditions, and he typically does pitch a little bit better at home. And also, too, Cardinals are 65% this year coming off a win. They don't have a lot of wins this year, really have underperformed, But when they get going, they get going. I like them in this spot. Give me St. Louis on the money line. And if I'm fading the Astros, like, how do you not tell this play? I mean, I'm an Astros guy.
It's actually, yeah, I like that. This might be your best play of the year.
It might be. The
3-unit fading Carrasco, which hit in like before the first out was made, was awesome.
That was cool. But
damn,
I'll take the card.
Yesterday's Brewers.
I'll say I'm so.
I do want to hear you freak out.
Yeah, I will say this. It's funny because I think you'll laugh at this. First inning, when they get the bases loaded with 1 out, I remember literally sitting down, and in my head, I've watched enough baseball. You have too.
Yeah.
And I go, if they ground out into a double play right here, it's chalked. I was like, it's chalked. I know it because I knew if they got to Peterson early, he was done. Like mentally, I knew he was done. Owen Miller, ground ball right to Lindor. And I said, yep, there it is. I knew it was chalked in the first inning. After that, I was like, bases load, all the momentum. First pitch after whatever.
I was the same thing too. It was for the Padres team total yesterday. Although it was close, Ha-Seong Kim gets on in the first AB. I think it was a walk, or he got on by a hit or something. I'm like, let's roll. Tatis double play. I checked out. I was like, if he's doing that, if he's on his bullshit, then Soto strikes out looking, it was over.
I'm pretty sure
they scored 3 runs in the second inning. I was like, oh, maybe I was wrong.
No.
They get on their bullshit early. And like, I hate doing that because then you could get something crazy. And like, we see that in baseball all the time. But more often than not, like if you watch enough baseball, you could see that teams like the way they're doing it. If they have bad at bats early, it's just like, you're not winning.
Yeah,
like,
Padres are fraudulent too. I hate the Padres. I hate losing on the Padres. They might win here and there for me, but when I lose on the Padres, nothing.
It's infuriating.
It makes me so mad because I'm like, I know they're overrated. Why do I keep doing that to myself?
Teams like that for me, Padres, the Twins make me so upset.
I hate the Twins. I hate Minnesota. I hate that state. Twins can suck it.
The Phillies have been weirdly good for me last year, but I banned them last year because watching the Phillies sometimes, it's the teams that are 3 true outcomes.
Yeah.
It's home runs, strikes, walks. They're unbearable to watch when they're in their strikeout mode. It's like, oh my, you have the worst at bats. It's infuriating baseball. Like losing on the Guardians, I'm like, they're putting the ball in play. Like they just didn't get it. Like whatever. Like they're putting up good ABs. Some of these teams, they're just, it's
another team. Mets.
It makes you want to tear your head out. Mets. Well, I just don't bet on the Mets because they suck.
Yeah. Well, the Mets are another one for me. So whatever. But I got 2 more plays. I got the under 9.5 Rangers Tigers game. This is just too many runs for me, truthfully. And I know Globe Life is, hitter friendly ballpark. It's one of the best over ballparks in all of baseball this year. But I'm a Dane Dunning guy. I really am.
You are a Dane Dunning guy.
Sneaky good. And I think 9.5. I was sitting there. I go, I'm not going to play a first 5 in this game because it's Joey Wentz. And there's so many games. I think we were talking about this like a couple weeks ago. There's times where you'll watch the first 5 innings and you go, well, it's 5-3. It's like 5-2, and you got the under 8.5, under 9. Nothing happens. And it's been a weird trend, but like I've noticed that a lot this year.
Yeah, a lot of over first 5, unders
under
when they get to the bullpens.
And that's kind of where I see it in this game. Also, too, Joey Wentz, I think, is due for some positive regression. I think he's slated to give up a couple, but I think the Rangers are going to win this game. And if the Rangers have the lead in this game, that means Dane Dunning is going to pitch good. Originally, this under was juiced up a little bit, minus 120. That's what I have. And I know it's minus 110 now. I think it was just because they announced like a couple hours ago, I think the roof is going to be open. So I was like, you know what, whatever. But still, for me, it is too many runs. 9.5 is too many. I like Joey Wentz a little bit. And Dane Dunning, he's going to shove tonight. He's going to shove. I love it.
Good stuff. One more?
One more. I'm taking this Rays Arizona over 9.
Oh, we're against each other.
Yeah, I love this play, actually. This is probably my favorite play of the day.
Okay, great. Fine.
So let's see. One of us is going to win today. So,
well, technically it could land on 9 because I have under 9.5, which...
as long as I don't lose. I honestly, as long as I don't lose. So we know it. Maybe we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll play it by ear. But Davies, 7.82 ERA, 9 ERA in the month of June. Eflin, ERA over 5 on the road. He's a better pitcher at home. And I do like the Rays in this game. Like I originally was going to play the Rays on the money line of like, okay, yep, they're going to bounce back. but something is off right now with Tampa Bay and this pitching staff. It just is. Their bullpen hasn't looked really good as of late. And Arizona's a good team. I'm not going to be naive in thinking, hey, I'm going to bet the Rays every time coming off a loss, because they lost again yesterday. And it really did surprise me. I watched the game, and just seeing Taj Bradley give up 4 runs in the first inning, back-to-back home run. I just didn't like the way that the Rays were looking. Their offense is always going to keep them in it, but if their pitching staff isn't good or they're shaky, I'm going to take the over. Also, too, the Rays are a great over team, 58% to the over this year. They need a bounce back win. Like, they're still in the same spot as they were yesterday, so I'm hoping they get some offense generated. The Rays are 7-1 to the over in their last 8 games, and the D-backs are 6-3 to the over to the last 9 games. I'm just going to play the numbers, and I like the over here. I'm going to take the over 9.
Fair enough.
I think there's sides to both of it, because you basically, just hear me out.
Yeah,
it's really what happens on Zach Davies. Truthfully.
Yeah. No, seriously. I think I have a weird feeling he has like a pretty decent start. Like, I'm not saying he throws a 6-inning shutout, but I'm like, if Eflin goes his classic 6 innings, 7 hits, 2 or 3 earned, and Davies goes 5-3, like 5 innings, 3 runs, and then rested bullpens, I think it could be like what you're saying for Rangers Tigers.
You're right.
It looks like it's going over and then it stalls. That's what I think. I just thought personally, if yesterday's game didn't go over, and Zach Davies hasn't been a literal garbage can the last 3 games, this total would be at 8.5 normally. So I thought it was a little bit inflated. But again, you got 9. I got 9.5. So a little bit better of a number. I'm not sure what happens.
Yeah, I think it's really a toss-up of a game. I think it truthfully does depend on which Tampa Bay team comes out. Are they going to be upset about the way they've played the last couple of days and come out swinging? Or is this going to be another game where maybe Eflin doesn't have a strong start and Tampa Bay's got to play comeback mode? I don't know. This series is going to be so up and down. I'm kind of curious.
6 series.
Yeah, I'm really just kind of curious to see what happens in this game as a whole, just, as a baseball guy. But we'll see. I also, too, producer Cohen, I love the Mets today. I didn't play them, but I love the Mets today.
Appreciate that.
Thought he'd like that. So let's have a day.
I love when
Wait,
thinking that
is your mic plugged in? I don't hear you in my headphones. Can you hear him, Tomas?
I can hear him, but I can hear him through your echo.
Yeah.
I think he's got his mic muted.
Oh, yeah, your mic is muted. That's why.
Just technical difficulties over here. What else? No, yeah, I was just saying. I love how when everyone's like shit when we were shit talking the Mets yesterday. Like, we just like hit.
Yeah.
So
baseball.
Just so classic though.
Shot, I said, yeah, it's chalked. I'm done.
No, it's a classic sad story that I deal with every day. Like, I can't even be happy when we win because I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen every
They're
time.
gonna find a way to disappoint you today, aren't
somehow. Yeah, whatever. Hey.
All right, Tomas, I appreciate you. We're gonna bring on Ollie 1 unit, but I hope you go 3-1. Respectfully.
I'll take it.
All right.
See you later.
Talk to you. Okay. Should we just bring on Ollie right now? Because there's a question. Pete, you got any futures for the season that are looking good? I'll answer. Let's bring on Ollie first, and then we'll answer that question. Ollie,
I promise.
No, you're good. You're good.
I've only got one play anyway.
First of all, shout out you. I texted you too. You might be the sharpest prize picks person in this stream so far this season. I swear, every play you put in the community entry, we haven't won one yet. We've put out, I think, if we're tracking it correctly, I think we put out 9. We are 0-9. Of course, they're 25x, so we got to hit 1 of 25 to go back to even. If you are 1 unit or 0.1 units, or however how you bet it. But you have given us, I think, a green goblin every single time.
I mean, what can I say? When I like a prop, I like a prop. I've done a good job this year, just in general, across the board, for the most part, of just not forcing. Do I like a play? Sure. It's an 8-month season. You don't have to play every single play you like. So when I have a prop I like, I'm going to tell you. When I don't, I'm just going to say, sorry, I got nothing today.
Well, we thank you for it. But let's talk about your one play.
Yeah, let's just get right into it. It's a national weekly holiday, I should say. Mitch Keller's pitching today. So we have to back him in one way or another. Today, I think the best way to back him is just to take this under, especially after yesterday, the Pirates finally showed some life offensively. Today, Blake Snell is going to come in, shut the door, be dominant like he has been. I mean, this guy, he's looking like that Cy Young version we saw 4 or 5 years ago from Tampa. This is what happened. If you remember, in that Cy Young season, his last 3 to 4 months were just insane, and it really came out of nowhere. Kind of like Bryce Harper's second MVP season. It's just like they stay relevant for long enough, and then they find it and lock in. And right now, Blake Snell, say what you want about him. I know he's very mixed when it comes to when people like him or don't like him, because he can be kind of a dickhead. I like that. I like him. I've always been a Blake Snell guy, even when he was in Tampa. And today, I think he's going to continue this dominant run. And like I said, on the flip side, it's Mitch Keller Day. He's been one of the more. He's definitely gotten a little bit of trendy in terms of gambling Twitter, because he does hit a strikeout prop a lot. But just in general, one of the more improved pitchers in baseball this year. And I think the numbers you see of Mitch Keller versus Padres players, I don't really think you can take that into consideration too much, because on paper, the numbers like, he struggles against all these Padres hitters. If you look at batter versus pitcher on MLB Savant or Baseball Savant, whatever it is, he's a different pitcher. He hasn't faced anybody on that team this year. He's not that same guy. He's a beast. And I think both these starters go deep enough to where they hand it off to their good part of the bullpen, because we didn't really see any good bullpen pitching yesterday, especially from the Padres. So the Padres bullpen, is it great? No, but it's not as bad as we saw letting up 8 runs in a bullpen game against the Padres on short notice. So that's why I'm going with the full game under here. I trust the back ends of the bullpen to hold it down late, just in case a guy like Juan Soto hits one 530 or something like that.
Well, I wish he did that for me yesterday. Said he got robbed, and I've been told
he did get robbed.
He got robbed, right? Like, I wasn't seeing things. They robbed a home run. Some people in the chat were saying that wouldn't have been a home run.
Looked robbed to me. I'll truck it up as a Juan Soto fanatic.
It's still lost. Yeah. I'm not making excuses. It's just
right.
I think he robbed a home run.
Yeah, I mean, they should have scored more than 4 runs, but it is what it is today. They won't score more than 4 runs. Neither will the Padres. This is going to stay under 8.5. That's the only play I got.
Atta baby. Keep on winning, my friend.
I'm going to try. For those that are wondering, me versus Krabs yesterday, he got me with the Cardinals. We pushed on the total in the Mets game. And 1-1 yesterday. Very well could have been 2-0. Very well could have been 0-2. We ended today. We're going to get that unit back. We lost yesterday. That's the plan.
Atta baby. Keep on going. All right.
All right.
We'll talk to you soon.
See ya.
Okay, we just Krabs. We got to get Little Ager in. I guess he's got shit to do. Little Ager. Let's cut the shit. Get to the place.
I got shit to do, brother. The Jays lost. I got to make up that money.
Yeah, but under 3.5 Giants. Don't act like I wasn't watching that game, rooting the hell for you. I was like, let's get that 6-unit dub, and then of course the Blues didn't hit, but neither did the Giants. It was always
right. But again, what I found them best at is I can find when a pitcher's going to do well or going to do pretty shitty. I can't do shit else about it. The other 9 people on the diamond, I can't control all that. If you tell me the Giants are going to score 1 run with 3 outs to go, I would have put more money on the Jays. It's baseball, brother. It's the way it goes.
It's the way it goes.
Speaking of baseball, first play I got is Angels, White Sox over 8.5. First 2 games of the series, we had fishy lines with Cease, 8.5 total with Detmers, soared under. Second game of the series, 8.5 total. Fishy line with Ohtani, the way he's been pitching, soared under. Again, Giolito, the way he's been pitching of late, I think he has a sub. He's been fantastic in the last month. Berea, as we know, his slider is fantastic. He hasn't pitched in about 8 days or so I don't know if it's going to be that sharp. Again, this is just such a weird total when the first 2 games of the series have gone under, and all of a sudden we have the 2 best combined ERAs, and it's still 8.5, now sharp to the over. Everyone got burned. I'm on the over. I think this score is pretty high. I do not think we see Carlos Estevez today. And despite how the White Sox pitchers have fared of late, I don't think they're a good bullpen. Ohtani's going to hit 3 more home runs because he's fucking gross, and that's just who he is. But I don't like Barria's matchup against the White Sox today either.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and this is correlated with my prize picks, but Lucas Giolito, his slider has looked good this year. He's found it, and his four seam on regular days rest. He's on 4 days rest today after throwing 105 pitches. In that scenario, his slider has really lost control, and that's when he starts walking a fuck ton of guys. And I think that happened today.
Good call. All right, let's just keep moving because I know you got to bounce.
Yeah. My next one. What do I have? Yankees. The Yankees fucking suck. Domingo Germán sucks on the road, and yet they're minus 150 after losing to Paul Blackburn. And now we have JP Sears, the best performing A's pitcher this year, coming off an absolute shoving against the Guardians. Seven innings pitched, 1 earned run, and they're a bigger dog against Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán throws the curveball about 45% of the time. The Athletics cannot hit an off-speed curveball. I don't think he pitches necessarily great, but I do think we see JP Sears in his reverse splits. Jake Bauer is going to hit a nuke if he's in the lineup. It's just the way the Yankees roll. And this just seems like a really high price after the Yankees scored 1 run, and they now see a better pitcher, but they now have a higher price. It's very, very interesting to me when nobody wants the Yankees. I'll take them.
It's true. Nobody wants the Yankees except for Lidlager. I like it. 2 plays, 2 winners. You got one more, right?
I got a prize picks. 2 units on the prize picks.
Wow.
So again, this is correlated with my the Jays. The Giants did not look great yesterday. Obviously, neither did the Jays. But this line interests me. The opener. You have to agree. When I know it was Chris Bassett, but would you make Chris Bassett a 120 favorite against Logan Webb? The way he's performed his last 2 or 3 starts, you can, right? I'm closer to a pick 'em, if not Logan Webb, a small favorite.
I thought I saw a line flip.
It did, but that was with the confirmation of Trevor Richards.
Oh, so now it's Trevor Richards.
Yes, it is confirmed.
Okay.
But that's what the opener. It was supposed to be Bassett. So I think that 120 total, or the opening line of 120, switching to minus 110 now, 115 with Richards confirming. Again, this is what I think it should be. But how do you have only 115 against Richards when they didn't do dick yesterday against Alex Wood in a bullpen game, and the Giants didn't do anything against Kevin Gausman? How do you only have it at minus 115 now with a still 8.5 stripe to the over? It's telling me that Logan Webb doesn't do well today. I don't think he does well. I don't think he's going to strike out many guys. I think he goes fairly deep. I think he gives up another 4 earned runs. I don't think he gets a quality start. So under 30.5 fantasy score, my first leg of the prize picks. And then what do I have? Lucas Giolito over 2.5 earned runs. Again, it's correlated with the sharp over in the Angels game. Good weather hitting conditions today in Anaheim. It's going to be a little warmer today than it has been. So I do expect that Ohtani bomb just to keep flying all night long. And I like over 2.5 earned runs. And he's at 100.5 pitches thrown. So they're going to force him to go deep, which I like that. So we have opportunity. They have the opportunity, just got to put barrel the ball.
Good stuff. I got nothing for you. I like that Giolito. It's just the problem is I hate taking earned runs square because you can give up especially the White Sox, you give 5 runs, 2 of them earned.
Fucking Tim Anderson. If Tim Anderson makes an error and gets 5 earned run,
but
it's baseball.
Then you're hitting your over anyway, right?
So it is correlated. But I mean, with the, I know we'll have the opportunity. It's just the Angels got to hit it. So I like that. And especially like him coming off 4 days rest. He's looked phenomenal. He's not looked good off of 4 days rest back to back. This is his second start off of 4 days rest. So I really like that. He's going to have a bit of a dead arm, and that slider's going to be a little flat today.
Sounds good, my friend. I know you got to bounce, so we'll talk to you soon, all right?
Busy man. See you guys. Thank you.
Peace out. Time for craps.
Sure.
How
about them Cardinals last night, boys?
How about them?
Let's celebrate the wins.
Let's celebrate the wins.
Positive.
Let's stay positive.
You know what I'm on?
You know what I'm on watch for?
Hmm.
Patrick Corbin is at 72 pitches with 7 strikeouts.
I'm watching it right now. I was waiting to see if you're going to bring it up. He's about to go out there for the 6th. This could be his last inning, they were saying. I would not be surprised if this is his last inning unless it's quick.
Who's he got in the lineup right now? Who's he going to face?
He's in the meat. I think the
Yeah, but the Mariners, they can't hit anyway. You got Julio France.
He had 2 strikes on JP, I believe, in the 5th inning there, and could have had a strikeout, give us a chance there. But right now, it's going to take a miracle. Miracle.
Hey,
We'll see.
all we need is a miracle, right?
Come on. Just strike out the side right now real quick.
We got a comment right now saying I liked it better when Krabs was pitching minus 225. So you didn't lay the juice with the Mariners today?
Actually, I did take minus 1.5. Maybe worst bet of all time. Yep.
Oh, I didn't mean to bring that up. I was just making a joke about the huge favorite.
I did let the people know, though, to not take it. If anything, fade it. Just like I say when I come on this stream, fade all these picks. I hope you guys profited yesterday. But do not tail me when I fade the Nats. When I fade the Nats, they turn into the freaking Rays.
Why do you do it?
Well, because I thought I found a winner, but I did not. It's not even close.
No, I'm just saying I know. Obviously, you bet the board. It's just we got to kick out our teams. We got to kick them out.
Yeah,
not worth it.
100%. I don't bet on them to win anymore, but now even when I bet on them to lose, they win every single time. So you're right.
It was
100%.
Always a Patrick Corbin shutout.
Always. Well, it's he could easily give up 5 here.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah, he could. We'll see.
Who knows?
Let's get into picks today, though. Why not us?
Yeah. 3 plays, 3 winners, 3 unit, all of them.
Yep.
All right.
Great.
Reds O's over 9.5. We'll start there in Baltimore. I think Gibson continues to regress like he kind of did in his last starts. And every time Weaver pitches, the Reds give up 10 runs and they score 10 runs as well. They probably will end up winning like they usually do, but the kid gets so much run support. Pretty hitter-friendly conditions there in Camden Yards today. And I think everyone's hopping off this over after last night's under. I'm hopping back on. I like the line moves. Splits are sharp. Give me runs in Camden Yards tonight.
I'm on this one too. Let's roll.
Dubs.
I got it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Padres ML.
Padres ML.
Yep. And guys, I gave these picks out thinking I was going to parlay them. I was trying to bring you guys a present. 3-piece. No parlays. Only straight bets. Only smart wagers.
Think about it. When it's September and people are trying to win the competition, they're just going to parlay 9 different teams and try and get the biggest odds
100%.
possible.
That's what I was already starting to do right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got me. 100%. I'm just trying to win, bro. I'm not trying to break any rules. I'm just trying to win.
I know.
I'm following the rules.
You're following the rules.
No parlays, just 3 unit bombs. Okay. Padres ML, this would have been a little easier to pitch in a parlay as a minus 160 piece, but I do think Blake Snell deals and out pitches Mitch Keller. Padres are ass, and I think this is some serious line respect, even for how well Blake Snell has pitched and with the roster in San Diego. Pitt's been fine against lefties recently. They're calling up a rookie, I think making a pretty cool debut tonight, apparently. Always want to fade that narrative when they got a debut coming up.
Who are they calling up?
His name, but I got to pull it up. Let's see.
They're calling up a new guy today?
Yeah.
Are you talking about Nick Gonzalez? He's been in the lineup. Are you talking about Triolo?
Triolo, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. I mean, he's 25. He's not like a big-time prospect.
He's making his big league debut.
Facts.
He is.
Fade him.
Yeah, fade him. I don't care if he's Ellie. I don't care if he's Joey Meneses. Fade him. Fade the hype.
Well, Joey Meneses is better than Ellie De La Cruz.
No, he's not. Grow up. Okay, even I can't say that. Give me a break. It's
Joey
close.
Meneses is good, though.
Second best batting average with runners in scoring position, Joey Meneses.
That's
Who's
what I'm
going to be knocking for him at the trade deadline? Probably a lot of teams. You think we get a top 100 prospect for him?
What's his contract look like? Do you know?
Cheap, and we got him for 2 more years.
Yeah, you might.
Yeah.
Top 100, top 10 in a system for sure.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And yeah, Larry Beeman, you're speaking my language, brother, in chat. Lane Thomas is better than Judge. Grow up. And by the way, all the Yankees fans, they found a way to troll me. They're telling me that Lane Thomas is going to look good in pinstripes coming up because he's about to get traded. And that's the one chirp you guys have on me right now. So we'll leave that at that. Padres ML, Blake Snell, masterclass once again. One of the streakiest pitchers in baseball. Until he cools off, I want to keep backing him. Everything's pointing towards another gem. His fantasy score, everything's super freaking high on Prize Picks. Let's back him to keep dealing against this overrated Pirates team, who I think their record is better than they actually are. I do.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Lane Thomas would never sit out because of a toe, and that's the difference.
Yeah. I just 100%. He never would do that. And he would never break a stadium so historic as Dodger Stadium and break the fence in the outfield and not think about others or the surroundings because he cares about people.
Just get your next play, please.
One more comment about that play, though. I like the way the Padres are going to be trending over the next week or so, and I think the Pirates are going to be trending downwards in the coming weeks. Give me some Padres wins coming up and some Pirates L's, and perfect spot here with these two teams playing each other tonight. Padres
Good stuff. Good stuff.
All right.
All right, go ahead.
What's the third play? Over in Kansas City, I believe?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've got, Logan Allen, who's coming off a pretty darn good performance, shutouts, but he's getting kind of wild. I don't know if you watched him pitch, but he's walking some guys. I think he only got through 4 innings in that start. So the rookie is, running into some obviously growing pains, not really surprising here. And this other guy who's pitching for the Royals, I don't know who the heck he is, but I know he's pitched 10 scoreless innings this year, and that's not going to last. Totals
12.
up a run.
12
scoreless innings. Sure. Even better. That's not going to last, although I don't think he's going to pitch, a full workload, 100 pitches. I think he'll give up a few runs early. Totals up, and Guardians have struggled against lefties all year, but I think they start to get going. A lot of these guys historically can hit lefties okay. Give me J-Ram to continue to ball, and he's got 7 squares up on Prize Picks today. He's got to do something. Runs for both sides in this game. Give me the over in Kansas City. It's sharp, splits are sharp, and it's moved up a run.
I think this is a really sharp over. I was looking at this too, and I saw it at 8.5, and I was like, And I looked into it kind of more.
Corbin's 8K. No way, chat. He's coming back out. Come on, he's got one more. He's got
one more in him. He's got one more in him. You got to bring him back out. You have to. How many pitches do you have? 85. We need at least another. You could go 2. What? Who cares?
Yeah, but they don't because they're trying to maybe trade him, dude. Like, there's teams dumb enough, like your Pinstripes, maybe straight up. I could see the Mets making a move, another crafty veteran with a ring. Would you blame him?
Can you imagine the Mets trade? He would set records for earned runs in games if he went to Queens.
Hey, I don't make the rules. There's just whispers. People are talking. Some people might want him. I don't know. Maybe I'm starting the rumors myself.
So in Nationals in the middle of June are holding Patrick Corbin out at inning because he might get traded to the Mets or the Yankees?
I would. Smart move. Smart move there by Rizzo. That's why we win. 2019.
Good stuff, my friend. All right, we're gonna bring on Anthony.
Prize Pick squares.
My bad. Rocket.
No, I don't have any. I want yours.
Oh, I'm on Ellie De La Cruz over 8.5. Square, sharp, don't care. Fantastic matchup against Gibson today, and he hasn't done anything in 3 days. And I'm fading Braxton Garrett against the Red Sox. Talk about a weirdly low fantasy score after a 10-1 win.
Dudes, I love Braxton. That's actually the square I was going to give you, which is kind of funny.
Okay, great.
What's the sharpest one you have heard today so far on stream?
Not a lot of Prize Pick squares today. Mid-major is putting 2 units on this entry. Logan Webb's under fantasy score and Giolito's over 2.5 runs.
Damn, Logan Webb got bumped up, but I wanted to fade him today. I don't hate it.
Javon is 2 also. You probably heard his already. I don't know what they are.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, take Garrett. And
Garrett
Reds Orioles over. Is Ellie going to not do well and everyone else is? Maybe.
I hope he does.
Yeah,
no, I'll definitely take that. Would you take his fantasy score?
I took his fantasy score because I think he can steal it based on Gibson.
All right, my man. Let's ride. Any other nasty squares I have? Let me look. Oh, Samad Taylor, 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs in that Kansas City Royals game. That game's going over thanks to our guy Samad Taylor, not Michael A. Don't get confused.
Not Michael A. Don't get confused.
Another Royals legend. All right, boys.
Hey, thanks a lot.
3 plays, 3 winners. Let's have a day in the green for once on the stream. And as always, chat, fade.
I have the game cast right. I have the game cast right next to me. I'm praying for Patrick Corbin case. I want to see it.
Please, boys. Please. Need it. Need it. 2 more.
Yeah, he has 1 in his season-long entry. He needs just 1 10K Patrick Corbin performance. I mean, it's nuts. Let's bring on Anthony DeBundo from the Action Network. We love talking ball, and we're on the same play today. Let's talk Reds Orioles first.
Yeah, I just sent you a screenshot. I was slacking with a couple people at our company and said at about 4:15, I was like, yeah, Corbin, 6 innings, 10 Ks today. He always has 1 or 2 every year. Where the slider's working and it's kind of just magic and you're not sure how. And then next start, he goes back into a pumpkin. I don't think anybody's trading for him at the deadline, with that being said.
Yeah, you don't think he's going to the Yankees or the Mets?
No, I think Krabs is maybe dreaming a little bit too much there. But yeah, I like the over tonight. Good hitting weather continues to be the case in the Northeast with the humidity up the way it is right now in Baltimore, especially 2 starting pitchers and 2 bullpens that have been extremely worked. We've seen Kyle Gibson have some decent starts, but I'm concerned with some of the underlying indicators that he may be headed back toward kind of a second half of what happened in Philadelphia last year, where he was just no longer effective and his walks went up and his hard hit rates really skyrocketed as the stuff kind of took a decline. And the stuff had shown some pop at some points early in the season, but still not a pitcher I'm looking to back. And the Reds bullpen situation, they did get some reprieve last night because Andrew Abbott shoved in my face, but the over here is still too low. I know it got up to 9.5. What are we sitting at right now in the market?
On BetMGM right now, we're looking at 9.5 and -115 towards the over.
Toward the over, yeah. It's a little high now at 115. If you can try to find like a 105, 110, every cent matters when you're betting baseball. People don't appreciate it enough because they just think about one bet. But in the long run, with all the amount of volume, each play, the cents matter. So I would try to get a 105 or 110 there, but I still do like it there. And locked in the over 9 last night. I know you did as well. We're in agreement. Let's get some runs. I've been kind of anti-Ellie, just like trying to be like the guy that says, well, actually, to the hype train. Obviously, long term, he's going to be awesome. But you're starting to see, struggling with breaking balls, swing decisions a little bit, some problems for De La Cruz. But I mean, obviously, every time he makes contact with the ball, it could go a mile, and then he just beats out infield singles and has a 400 BABIP. So certainly been impressive.
I took his over 8.5 fantasy score today. I totally agree with you, but I was watching him against Tyler Wells last night against he just can't hit a lefty. I mean, he just cannot hit a lefty right now. And then Morton is, again, just an old Grizzly veteran who's like going to shove it in a young guy's face.
Elite
curveball. Kyle Gibson is not that guy.
Right.
I think he goes right back to it. But again, he's going to be up and down this year. I mean, he's got matchup problems. Gibson is not a matchup that I'm very afraid of.
Yeah, certainly.
All right, let's go to play number 2.
Okay, play number 2 is the Phillies under 8.5 -115. This market's been weird today. We bet it last night. We cashed. I like it again tonight. First off, it puts the Phillies in their worst offensive split against the lefty. They are starting Josh Harrison over Stott and Christian Pache over Marsh. And Pache over Marsh is a big defensive upgrade and a pretty sizable offensive downgrade.
You think it's a big defensive upgrade? I think Marsh has been nails in center.
He's been fine, but he's not Pache.
True. But yeah, I'm more giving credit to Marsh and how good I think he's been in center.
Exactly. Pache just has a little bit more speed. And so when balls are hitting the gap to the left and Schwarber doesn't really move, Pache can run all the way over to Schwarber's position.
He's embarrassing out there.
Play two positions. Yeah, it is terrible. The Phillies need Bryce to come back to play first, which is also going to be fun. With that being said, as we get toward the All-Star break. But yeah, it's a defensive improvement. Marsh is good, like you said, but Pache is, I would say he's like a top 3 center fielder. And so that helps. The conditions blowing across tonight, so not really like a true strong wind, but a little bit blowing in from right, kind of across the field should hurt the lefty power alley. But more so, this is about Aaron Nola. And the market, like I said, it's been up and down. It went to 8 and it went back to 8.5. I did see 8.5 about an hour ago when I looked, so I think they're still out there.
Yeah, 8.5 and -120.
Yeah, I do like that 8.5. But like I said, the Phillies below average against lefties, bottom 10 against lefties this season. If you think about it, I mean, losing Rhys Hoskins, this lineup does not have a lot of right-handed power, and so you're seeing the problem with that in their numbers this season. And then the Cubs, much better against lefties than righties. Nola, the fastball velocity has come back. The strikeouts have come back. It's a very good matchup for him because the Cubs are patient, which means Nola's going to be able to fill the zone. A lot of first pitch strikes, getting ahead, using the curveball to get putaways. I think it's a good matchup for him as opposed to a more aggressive lineup that could jump his fastballs in the zone. So I do like this matchup for Nola. I bet his strikeouts over as well. And I think the Phillies get the win again, but I'm not laying -130. Instead, I like the under 8.5.
I'm just curious because normally, you break down the bullpens really well, like you were talking about the Reds. When you didn't talk about either bullpens, is there a reason you went full game over first 5 just for people listening if they heard all that stuff about the pitchers and they're like, yeah, give me the first 5? I'm just curious, just talking more about the bullpens.
Yeah, totals. I've probably bet fewer F5 totals this year than ever. It feels like I'm squeezing in so much variance and they're so tilting, especially when it's like the 5th inning, 3rd time through, and you're starting to see some wilting, which you can see from Nola at times for sure. Yeah, in this case, both bullpens are very rested. Cubs have had 2 days off. pretty much from their bullpen because Assad threw 3 innings in relief last night. So they haven't used any of their top bullpen arms in 2 days. Phillies did use Soto and Kimbrel. Soto didn't throw many pitches, so I'm assuming he's available. Kimbrel should be too because they were off on Monday. So assuming we get this game in, which there is a chance of postponement given the air quality problems, I do like the under tonight. And I think the bullpens are going to be well rested. So you're going to get the A guys. And the Phillies bullpen, when they have their top guys available, is a top 6 to 7 bullpen. The depth is a question mark.
You think so? I'd say the top quality arms are.
Right.
When other guys come in.
Soto and Alvarado available, I will take them with anybody in the league, those 3.
In terms of stuff grades, they might be 3. But man, there's variance there because when they don't have it, they look horrible.
Yeah, and losing Dominguez hurts, but the lack
of he's also not been good either.
Right, and Nola's pretty consistently going to give you 6. Not always the best 6, but you're pretty consistently going to get the 6 from Nola. So it really depends. If they're holding a lead, they have the 3 guys to get the last 9 outs available tonight. So I feel good about that.
Good play, my friend. Let's go to pick number 3. Pick
number 3. The under 5 in the first 5 innings between Giolito. Yeah, that's funny. I just said that I haven't really bet a lot of them this year. This is one I do like because we saw a lot of bullpen usage last night in this game. The White Sox were cycling through a ton of guys behind Kopech who did not go that deep. And the White Sox used a lot of bullpen in the game before with Joe Kelly, with Ray Lopez, Aaron Bummer. So they've used a lot of bullpen in the last couple of days. And the Angels have as well for the most part. I mean, Detmers went pretty deep, but they had to use Estevez, and then he threw again last night, so 2 straight days for him. And so there are some question marks about the bullpens tonight. I happen to be Jaime. Is it Berea or Baria? I think it's Berea. Berea. Pronunciations are not my always strong suit, but I happen to be a fan. And the strikeout minus walk is solid. The expected indicators are under 4. I don't think he's going to give you longevity, which is another reason to look toward the first 5 here. But I do think that, he's a capable above average starter and somebody who can be a 5 and dive, 4 and dive type guy against a lineup for Chicago that's just not projecting well against righties. And Giolito has really been improving consistently, I think, and he's really upped his trade value. I think he will get moved deadline for quite a fee, even though he's on a rental. But Giolito, this Angels lineup, Ohtani's homering every day. But if you look under the hood, the rest of the lineup has not been producing. And I'm, not sure that it's much better tonight. If you look at kind of the 6 through 9, those injuries have really taken their toll. Even losing somebody like Neto at the bottom has hurt this lineup. So F5 under 5, I was surprised by that number last night. You're laying a little bit of juice. I'm okay with 4.5 flat, minus 105, minus 110. I'm good with that as well, but do like the under in this game.
Well, on BetMGM, you could still get 5 at minus 130 towards that under. I think you have one more pick.
Yes, I do. Yeah, the Pirates. Whew.
Wow.
It's funny. I just bet the Blake Snell under 3 minutes before I came on the stream. I think we're getting the absolute peak of the market on Blake Snell right now, both in the money line and in the strikeout prop. I was looking at it this morning. I saw 7.5 under minus 145, 150. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to lay that kind of juice against Snell, but the market just got hammered. Everybody hit the over in the last hour since the Pirates released their lineup. Brian Hayes remains out. Is he IL bound? I didn't see that, but
I haven't looked into it. I would have to look into it. I'm not sure.
Yeah, 2 straight days without Hayes. I thought he'd be back tonight. They bring in this guy Troy Lowe, who doesn't even have a projection from the bat, which is what I use for my numbers. So I was like, well, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. Doesn't project particularly well, obviously. But 7.5 now. The Pirates still have the lowest chase rate in baseball. And Snell, as good as he is and as good as the stuff is and as dominant as he's been, don't get me wrong, I love Blake Snell and whatnot, but just, if he's not in the zone, the Pirates are not going to chase. They're going to rack up the pitch count. And so, they're going to get to this Padre bullpen, which just got stretched to hell last night and which has not been particularly good outside of Josh Hader all season. And Pittsburgh, the Mitch Keller train rolls on. How much better is Blake Snell than Mitch Keller over the course of the season?
I'd power rank them as equals. Blake Snell, slight edge, but not.
Right. You're paying a premium.
You're flipping a coin
because of 4 starts.
Yeah.
So I can't just assume that Snell's going to all of a sudden be the best pitcher in the league. There's always a kind of a middle to it. And so, at plus 140, I like Pittsburgh. The lineup stinks. But, Keller and that bullpen, Bednar, didn't pitch last night. Rowanzi gave them some actual good innings out of their bullpen, which was nice because there's not a lot of depth in that Pittsburgh bullpen, and having Bednar available is big for their projection. He is available tonight. So I like Pittsburgh on the money line. And once the starters are out of this game, there's not that much of a gap either. So this projected gap for the Pirates or for the Padres after 5 innings, I don't really see it either. I think this is closer. As far as pitching quality, it's closer to even. So give me Pittsburgh.
I faded Rowansi a lot this season when he was in the rotation, and it's worked out for me. So when I saw I had Potter's team total over 4.5 last night, and I saw him enter the game, I'm like, perfect. He pitched phenomenally.
That got robbed. Did he get that?
Oh yeah, of course.
Man, that's rough. Yeah,
no, a loss is a loss. It's just like you've been in these bets before when you see a guy come in who has helped you tons in the past, like hit overs or unders or whatever, and then he does the opposite of what he normally does, you just crumble and you're like, you've helped me so many times, can help me one more.
It's funny because I was betting on Rowanzi a lot last year, and then
he was great last year.
It was alarming stuff with the fastball being gone. It just not any good anymore. So hopefully he can find it again, because I do like him as a pitcher, but right now it's ugly. And Luis Ortiz, he's the one I'm buying now in that Pirates rotation, for better or worse. If he can ever throw strikes, he's going to be really good.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree with you. I like Oviedo a little bit better. I think he's just more polished. But Anthony, we got Javon coming up next. Appreciate you, my friend, and we'll talk to you soon. Let's get some winners.
Thank you. And go Pirates. Raise the flag.
Go Pirates. All right. Peace.
See ya.
We got the milkman, Javon.
Good.
How are you, my friend?
Doing great. Ready to bounce back.
Good hat game.
What's up?
Good hat game.
Yeah, I always mix it up.
I know. You and Krabs. And Krabs have fire hats. I'm rocking a Santa Barbara surf shop hat. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, Pete, we just got to be better.
You like my Bo Jackson shirt?
that I can get behind.
It's kind of sick.
I can get behind.
Let's break into it. What do you like?
Yeah, so I have 2 that I've already heard touched on quite a little bit recently, so I won't go too in depth of just repeating everything that was said.
I do like just hearing you break down a game, so
fair enough. I'm just saying I'm not going to repeat word for word everything I said. But first one, I'm on the Reds Orioles over for a couple different reasons. Luke Weaver, I've been obviously a big Reds fan throughout this little stretch because of my playoffs bet. Luke Weaver is one guy that anytime he steps to the mound, I just know that hope is small. I actually do have hope today, but not because he's going to pitch well. I have hope more because of their offense. But, his whole issue has been barrels and home runs. He has a serious home run issue. He's got the highest home run per 9 out of any qualified starter on the slate. So I'm definitely looking to a couple of guys that I'll talk to in a little bit. But I just don't see a world where this Orioles offense isn't able to barrel him. Like every offense has been able to consistently do every single start. You have great hitting conditions like you were speaking to in Baltimore tonight. It's only going to hurt him. So I'm definitely scared from his standpoint. And then Kyle Gibson, he's walking a 4.91 ERA or xERA and a 44% nearly hard hit rate, which is the worst of his career. He's not generating any ground balls. The Reds don't hit ground balls even when they're on the road. So it's just really a disastrous matchup for both those starting pitchers. And the Orioles bullpen, you don't want to fade them. They've been used a little differently over the course of this week, partially because of the 2 rain delays. So yes, you could say guys like Bautista would be available and Yennier Cano as well, but I'm not really too scared of that because I really do think. That's
the thing is, it's like the Reds have been so damn good. So it's like, are they just impenetrable? I think the Reds could hit them.
Yeah, they kind of are. And late game hitting has kind of been their thing. So even I really don't think it's going to come down to that, which is why I'm not concerned. on the other side too, you have the Reds bullpen that they're calling up 2 different arms every single day to make their major league debut because they literally don't have any fresh arms. So a worst case scenario, I really do think the Reds offense is going to be able to do enough against Kyle Gibson to, they're going to be leading come by the time we get to these bullpens. So it won't really concern me that we're going to see possibly Bautista and or Cano. So I do like this over, and I think we get a lot of runs here from both sides, probably pretty early too.
No, I agree. I'm almost looking back on it. I was like, the reason I took the full game over was because I was like, who's going to pitch for the Reds in the late innings? But I'm like, damn, first 5 over might be it might hit the full game over in the first 5 is kind of what
it genuinely could. I just wasn't wouldn't get cute with it. I'll let it. Anytime the Reds are involved, I'm just like, you know what?
Agreed.
I'll keep it simple. There's going to be late game magic, whether it's them or against them 99% of the time. Let
it bleed. All right, let's go to play number 2.
Yeah, play number 2. We're on the over in not Cincinnati, Cleveland and Kansas City. This is weird too, because we see this move up from 8.5 to 9. You have Logan Allen, who has been spottily, I guess, as I've watched him. I'm a big fan of a lot of his stuff that as he's been coming up, but the command's been a little shaky over his last couple starts. The numbers haven't necessarily shown it because he has been pretty solid, but he's a guy that I'm kind of bullish on kind of going forward. And I think the Royals offense, who we talk about this all the time, as bad as they are numbers-wise, like they're not scoring. They go through long stretches where obviously the strikeouts are going to be there, but top 10 in hard hit rate, as they've been pretty much all season against left-handed batters or left-handed pitching. So like a guy like Logan Allen, who his command, when you talk about his non-off speed stuff, like his fastball, I've seen a lot of that over the plate in his last couple starts. So like a Royals team that is kind of positioned well to take advantage of that, I think they can scratch a couple runs. I'm not necessarily counting on him to get blown up in the start, because on the other side, I do think that the Guardians go crazy today. We're talking about, I think Krabs mentioned it, like reading the prize picks board with the Guardians and Jose Ramirez, who has every single square up imaginable after he sold a lot of people yesterday. I mean, we have Austin Cox, who is, I watched him in the Rays series. He's actually kind of impressive. It was weird, but he's coming and opening for this little bullpen game. But looking back at some of the stats in the minor leagues, he has like a very alarming hard hit rate, home run rate, barrel rate, hard hit rate, everything you want to talk about, which has kind of been an issue in the majors so far, but he's just kind of gotten away with it. So I think very early in this game, you're going to see the Guardians offense explode. And it's really not going to take much on the back end against that terrible Royals bullpen for them to put up 6 save and maybe go over this themselves. I honestly wouldn't be that surprised. Then on the other side, like I said, Logan Allen, I expect him to give up a couple here against the Royals offense. Maybe it's just off of one bang by like a Bobby Witt, or like Krabs was saying, we took a Samad Taylor as well. I don't think it's going to take much from them, but I really like the Guardians to put up a lot of runs today. I just didn't want to get too cute with it.
Samad Taylor, 1.5 hits or runs at RBIs is definitely interesting.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, a lot of times when there's hits, runs, RBIs with guys in the 9-hole, it's certainly interesting to see how that plays out. It hits more than it doesn't. I'll say that.
Two game picks, but I know you got some prize pick squares. Let's talk.
I do. I actually have two half unit entries today, which I kind of mix it up. There's like one in each of these. There's like one incredible like analysis pick, and then there's one where it's like me more so reading the board of what they give to us. And the first one, like I talked about, Gunnar Henderson. I think he's the easy pick if you're talking about taking advantage of the barrels that Luke Weaver is going to give to them, especially when you're a lefty hitting in Camden Yards with the conditions kind of lending its way to, a very favorable script for that. I don't see a world, again, where a lot of these lefties, even when it's Gunnar Henderson, you could throw Ryan O'Hearn in there, even a Cedric Mullins, who I think is starting today. They're going to take advantage. And Gunnar Henderson is my favorite matchup out of them all. I'll be taking him to go yard. I'll be taking this hit, run RBI. I'll be taking some bases. I'll be taking everything because I think his matchup is absolutely golden today. And then talking about the other end of this, Yainer Diaz over 1.5 total bases. I've been taking him pretty religiously as a hit, run RBI guy because that's what they've been offering. And the fact they put up total bases today in a game where I think a lot of these matchups against Miles and Michaelis are pretty interesting today for the Astros, which, side note, I was talking about this series, and tomorrow we have Wainwright at a pick'em, so I'm kind of penciling that in for a Cardinals bet. So I think this is the game the Astros steal, and they score a lot of runs, and a lot of the squares up for the Astros are really weird today, not just Yainer, but they have Kyle Tucker up for total bases. They have a lot of really weird stuff, and Yainer, him being up for 1.5 bases is interesting this time because, A, they don't usually offer it, but B, I was looking at Michaelis, and a lot of his effectiveness, I guess you could say. I know he had like one blow-up start as of recent, but it's been a changeup. Changeup's been a big difference for him in this little resurgence this year, and Yainer Diaz is a guy who you certainly don't want to hang off speed to. He's just going to send it the opposite way or pull it for power. So I just, something in my gut is telling me that there's something off with that line, and I do like the matchup enough to take it, and I just think it's weird that it's up. So I'm rolling with that as the first half, or first little half U entry.
Would never go against a Javon gut pick. Let's get to prize picks entry number 2.
Yeah, gut pick. So another one, the line reading part of it / weird that it's up. Danny Jansen, 1.5 hits, runs an RBI, which anytime he's up for this, I've kind of just penciled him in for a nuke and it just hits. But I'm kind of with everybody in saying that. I know the line's moved to like a pick 'em now because Trevor Richards is pitching, but I think everything is just really weird for that Giants game. And a lot of the Giants lines have been weird, for some time now. They're not really getting the respect Vegas-wise they deserve, so I get it. But Logan Webb, I just find it really weird. A lot of his matchups today with the Jays, and no, I haven't been great taking Jays props this season when it's a lot of the Corp guys, but we're talking about Danny Jansen and Varsho and a lot of those guys. I'm in. And Danny Jansen is a super interesting matchup because you have both him and Logan Webb who possess reverse splits. Jansen is much better at home. It's where he does a lot of his damage. And I just love everything about it. I think this is a really weird one. And then Marcus Semien, I took him in our head-to-head challenge this week with Krabs. I don't know if you kept up with that or seen that at all. But this was one of the matchups I kind of penciled in to be a really good one for him. Joey Wentz, who is obviously a lefty who is going to give up plenty of barrels himself. He's almost a Luke Weaver from the left side against this Rangers lineup who absolutely destroys lefties and is going to take advantage of that, especially at home. So I love Semien here to kind of stay hot. And the thing for Semien that I love too is I also took the Rangers. I think they played this game in Detroit against, I think it was the same exact matchup, and I know Joey Wentz pitched. I've already seen him. And they hit the ball really hard off him and didn't have much to show for it that first game. So Semien is one of the guys that I have certainly penciled in to take advantage of it. Second time seeing him at home when he's gotten going a little bit. So I'm all for it.
Phenomenal pitches, per usual. You got anything else for us?
Oh, that's it.
Good stuff, my man. Again, 2 game picks, 2 overs. Let's get some runs in Reds Orioles tonight. That would be so good for the stream. And if it loses, we are just going to be drinking, not regular urine, like dehydrated camel urine, because we need it.
It's like the worst, like 7-Eleven.
Yeah. Like you go to the soda fountain and it just, instead, there's no syrup for the soda. And it just gives you like seltzer water. That's what we'll be drinking tonight.
Yeah.
We can't afford syrup in our sodas.
Yeah. I've been, I don't want to say I've been picky because I've been betting a lot of Reds totals as of late, but I'd say I have a pretty good read on them. So I feel good about this one.
Me too.
So I'm excited to see. I think it's going to be a pretty fun game, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think we see a lot of home runs, a lot of fireworks early. I wouldn't be surprised if we get some. I know you're on Ellie. I don't mind Ellie. I think the Reds lefties also show out. Him and Jake Fraley.
I like Votto too.
I'll be punching in. Yeah, I don't mind Votto at all either. And of course, I'm targeting the lefties, but Matt McClain, all-star Matt McClain, has been one of the best and hottest hitters in the league for like the past week. So he's showing up.
Talked about it on the Just Baseball show today. That comes out tomorrow. We were like, because we did a draft of our all-star game pitchers. Like we all like did a snake draft, and just at the end, Jack was like, Matt McClain could be an all-star, and we were all like, yeah. Like, he's been unreal. Javon, one last parting note. It's a good thing. Remember how we do the home run zone all the time? Danny Jansen's up there.
Is he really?
He is up there. And I said, no. And I said today, I was like, Danny Jansen is weird, but against Logan Webb, is he going to hit a home run today? And the fact that you're on it, like, he might just end up going yard. It's just Logan Webb. He's one of those classic – just hit the ball on the ground. It makes you want to tear your freaking heart out. But I mean, he's showing it right now. Where is Danny Jansen right there in between Ryan O'Hearn and Adolis Garcia?
Oh yeah, I bet we'll be seeing a Danny Jansen home run 454 feet notification coming up very soon.
Yeah, we'll be clipping it. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll talk to you soon.
Yep, appreciate it.
All right, I think we're done, right, Producer Cone? 2 plays from Jake. You couldn't come. All right, let's flash some Jake Hazen plays again. Fading the Yankees, probably a good look. We suck. We suck. Then Milwaukee. Who? Yeah, no one's even talked about that. I think Mets Brewers has just hurt people. The reason why I think Jake would do it, because I was looking into this too, but I don't have the stones. Because I have honestly, guys, I have no read on this Brewers Mets series. I haven't bet on it once. I have no read on the series, so I just didn't want to make a play. Kodai Senga is going on less rest than usual. Remember, he came over from the MPB. In the MPB, he's normally pitching once a week. That's what he's been doing now. The Mets are revving up his, now he's pitching once every 5th instead of once every 6th. I don't know how well he does today. But then again, the Brewers suck. I don't mind this play. It's a good number. And I like the A's play because the Yankees are terrible. That'll do it, folks. Appreciate you guys all listening again. Do we have games tomorrow? What's the slate looking like? Are we going to stream tomorrow? Yeah, we got plenty of games. We'll be on tomorrow. Appreciate you guys again. Who should we raid? Should we raid anybody? Is there anyone? Should we just end? What were Javon's plays? He is on Cleveland Guardians versus Royals over 9.5, and he is on Reds versus Orioles over 9. And then he's got 2 Prize Picks entries. I know Danny Jansen's in there. Yeah, there you go. Gunnar Henderson and Yainer Diaz. Raid a small boy. Who's a small boy? Is that a person? A small boy. Do you guys want to go listen to DJ Academics talk music? No. Anyone interesting? Raid a small. Who is that? Just a small streamer. Well, I see Betting News. Betting News has 18 people listening. Betting News. Why don't we raid them? I don't know about you, Pete, but Herman is dishing. I hope we win. I have no faith in us. Again, that's why I don't bet my team. Yeah, let's raid Betting News. Betting News. Got you guys. All right. Love you guys. Let's get some winners tonight. Why not us? Big bounce back night for the kids. We'll see you guys later. All right. We got to remember, though, it's not gambling advice. Peace out.